It's a momentous occasion for India as the Women Reservation Bill has been introduced in the Parliament, and more importantly, it's almost a 27-year-old battle that we have been witnessing all this while. In fact, earlier this year, among the many parties, it was the BRS led by Kavitha who raised the entire chorus of Women's Reservation Bill. In fact, it was Kavitha who sat on a hunger strike demanding that the Women Reservation Bill should be introduced into the Parliament. In fact, she also got the support of various opposition parties. Notably, the Congress stood out during the hunger strike, but Kavitha continued with her fight. She's joining us on this special broadcast. Kavitha, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Last, when we spoke here in the national capital, you were confident that this is going to come. You were hoping that all political parties would rise above their political concerns and support the Women Reservation Bill. It's been introduced in the Parliament. It comes with a certain caveat. Let me straight away dive into the issues that have been raised by a lot of political parties. One, linking it with delimitation and the census. Today, the government has made it very clear, starting from Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Minister Smriti Irani, both are essentially talking about Article 82 of the Constitution. Ms. Kavitha, are you satisfied with the response that has been given by the centre with regards to why exactly delimitation is important, and only after that Women Reservation Bill can be, perhaps the law can be enacted?
Thank you, Shravanji, for having me on Republic, and thank you for your continuous support to the women's issue. During the Delhi Dharna and the hunger strike and subsequent events also, Republic has been supportive in raising this issue. So I thank you on behalf of Indian women. As you rightly said, there are multiple issues in this Women's Reservation Bill. One being the government not coming forward to implement it right away. It is very much possible, although they are quoting Article 82, it is very much possible to implement it right away, because this government umpteen number of times has utilized the 2011 census as the basic data, because we do not have a 2021 census. So they have utilized it and taken up many programs. And essentially, it's not a complicated matter. See, what is census? It is ultimately numbers, and with the today's technological advances that India has made, within a matter of 5 minutes or even a minute, any computer can tell you which constituencies have the highest number of women. Simple as that. Taking 2011 census as the baseline, if you calculate, you'll immediately get which 33% seats have more women as population, and then you can decide those as it's a very transparent process as well. So there is no rocket science involved like earlier delimitations. Now it's much more easier with the computers, backing us with the advancement in technology. It's much more easier. It is just that this government is not willing to give women an immediate chance. They're trying to take a political mileage and advantage by saying that we have introduced the Women's Reservation Bill, but we will again deny them 5 more years of political participation. India as a nation, for 75 years, we have kept our women out of parliament and assemblies, and this government should not, take another step like an eye wash or a lip service. We urge the government, there is still time, it is still possible that they can implement it right away.
In fact, it sounded like Kavitha, the software engineer, not the Kavitha parliamentarian or politician, essentially speaking, because Ms. Kavitha, the 42nd amendment essentially froze the delimitation exercise until the results of the first census after 2000 was published. So essentially, it hamstrings the entire process. That is the reason why the government is essentially insisting that you ought to do this, because otherwise you cannot go ahead with the reservation policy. You are talking about that this can be done using technology, but having said that, the delimitation process itself, it's a quasi process involving the people perhaps getting their opinion on this entire matter. So keeping all that in mind, perhaps it's going to be a far long drawn process.
Shravanji, I want to, really appreciate you reminding me being a software engineer. Yes, when it comes to women, there should not be politics involved. There should be only practical solutions that should be given to give women chance at any cost. See, point here is this government has not been transparent from the beginning. In the introduction of the bill, during the introduction of the bill, they have not taken anybody into confidence. Now, if they come back preaching us, saying the census has to be done. So let me straightforward ask this government one question. 2021, we were supposed to do the census. Yes, COVID was there. What have you done in 2022? What have you done in 2023? Did we not work on Chandrayaan? Did we not work on many advanced projects? Why could we not do the census? It is a fault of the government. It is a fault of the government. They cannot now come back and say that just because we could not do the census, women will be denied 5 more years. Now, until national capital we raised the issue, and in fact the strategy that BRS as a party and me as an individual followed was we specifically invited the parties which stopped the bill earlier because of the OBC issue. We requested RJD, we requested Samajwadi Party. They did send their representatives, and they also told their objections that without OBC we cannot agree, which we will and we should respect. And in fact our demand as BRS is also that OBC should be given their due share. In fact, our Honorable Chief Minister 10 years back had written, we resolved in our, we passed resolutions in our assembly for 33% BC quota, OBC quota overall in the parliament, which will automatically reflect in the women reservation bill as well. So this government is not even talking about it. Census, forget census, they could not do the census. They did not even bother to acknowledge about OBC census. Now, if we don't even know how many OBCs do we have, how are we going to reach out to those sections? How are we going to do justice to those sections? So these are some straightforward questions that this government has to answer. And if you are passing a bill now and telling the women to wait for 5 more years, I do not think they are going to get the political benefit that they are thinking they will get out by introducing this bill. And it is simply and should not be about politics. It is ultimately should be what Honorable Amit Shah ji said. It should be about manyata. जो respect women deserve करती है उनको देने का वक्त अभी तो आ गया है. The government should get practical and serious and sincere about it. That is what we can demand of them right now.
Well, in fact, Ms. Kavitha, I was coming to the quota within quota issue because going through the Geeta Mukherjee Parliamentary Committee recommendation, which also made a point with regards to the fact that it is for the government to make that decision, and there was a growing chorus within the committee at that point in time that OBC reservation should be looked into it. You've already heard the discussion that took place on the floor of the parliament with regards to quota within quota. In fact, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that this is no lip service. As far as OBC reservation is concerned, their party has been at the forefront of it. So how do you really look at the arguments that have been put forth? Because for parties like the Samajwadi Party or for that matter RJD, it seems that there has been a change. But let's not forget, it is they who obstructed this for a very, very long time.
Well, everybody objected to women's bill at one point or the other. Yes, RJD, SP objected at a point, TMC objected at a point for various different reasons. BJP themselves have objected, quoting various different reasons, both in 2010 and before that. So everybody at some point or the other did have their own objections. But luckily, now I think everybody is on the same page, saying that if you can give the OBC quota, then everybody is happy about it. Even including, many parties on the floor of the House said the same thing. SP and SP also said the same thing. I heard Dimpleji speak on that. So my demand right now, and as you rightly said, Amit Shah ji said, we are in the forefront championing. But if the BJP is sincere and in forefront and championing, they should pass the OBC reservation bill, 33% OBC reservation bill. What is stopping them? Why did you call the special session of the parliament to tell women that yes, we are passing the bill, but you have to wait for another 5 years or another 10 years, and we don't know which government is going to come back then, and what if they are not able to deliver on the rest of the promises? Now, what will happen to the implementation then? So why should we keep the women's future in hanging? If you're sincere, if you're making an effort, if you have taken a first step, might as well do it completely, right? Complete the whole process, give the women benefit that they deserve, and if you get a political benefit out of it, much better. It doesn't matter to the rest of the world. When it comes to women's issues, I believe whoever works for them, they'll get the credit. That's good. But women should get their due course is what I believe.
Can I then ask you, Ms. Kavitha, in the current form, will the BRS go ahead and support the government as far as the Women Reservation Bill is concerned? Or would you see that perhaps there could be a roadblock in it?
No, BRS always said whichever format you bring the women's bill, we will support, because just on the basis of not having certain bills, we will not as a policy oppose the women's bill. But yes, we are also demanding, because this government has the possibility, has the chance, has an opportunity, to deliver it because of their majority. They do not have any obligations to, any coalition partners or whatsoever. So they can deliver it. That is why BRS is demanding that please include the 33% OBC quota, which they can do it, but they are not doing it. That shows that this government lacks the will to empower the OBCs.
Well, two aspects that I would also like to touch upon, Ms. Kavitha, is one, the credit war that is erupted, with the Congress leader Sonia Gandhi saying that ye to hamari bill thi. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary targeting the government, saying that why did you not bring the same bill that was introduced in the Rajya Sabha during Manmohan Singh's time? And then finally you've had the criticism that you have also faced from leaders like Y.S. Sharbala, who said that why was this not introduced in Telangana itself? So both the aspects I want you to touch upon. One, the credit war. What is it that you will tell the opposition parties? Secondly, with regards to the criticism that you yourself have been facing while championing this cause.
Shravanji, basically, if Congress was sincere, they could have introduced a quota within quota and passed it then and there when they passed it in Rajya Sabha. They could not pull it off, and now Rahul Gandhi ji on the floor of the House is questioning the current government that why cannot you implement OBC, and he's quoting numbers. There is 1 or 2 employees out of 99 secretaries, etc. Well, virasat kahan se mila hai? Who ruled the country for the largest time? Who did not give OBCs their share? It was a Congress party. Now, just because elections are approaching, you want to talk sweet about OBCs? History is not going to forgive you. History is in fact never going to forgive you for forgetting to even mention Women's Reservation Bill in your 2019 election manifesto. Women will never forgive you. And if they want to just give some sops and some freebies, announce certain freebies to women and try to lure them to vote them in this elections, it's not going to work for the Congress party. Two, Madam Sonia ji did her share of effort. She passed it in Rajya Sabha in 2010, but then again she was in power for the next 4 years. Why could she not, or the Congress party not sincerely try and push it then? Now if you want to claim that this bill is up now, fair enough, try to claim the credit, let the voters decide ultimately who get the credit. And Adhir Ranjan ji also knows why BJP is not bringing back the same bill, because there is an Anglo-Indian reservation mentioned in there, and Anglo-Indian seats have been done away with this by this BJP government. We all know their stand upon minority Christians and minorities, so that is no secret. But Congress just wants to take advantage, flare up certain issues, but who is losing in the process is the women of this nation. So my sincere demand, my sincere request to all the political parties, especially the ruling government, is please include the OBC quota. Please pass the 33% OBC reservation for general seats as well, for the whole of the parliament. Automatically it will reflect in the women's bill. And it is really high time that the OBCs get their share. We do not give even count, we are not even counting, taking their census. So it is high time we give them, empower them. And if this government is sincere, they should quickly add the 33% OBC quota. That is my request to the current government.
Thank you very much, Ms. K. Kavitha. It's always a pleasure having you on Republic TV. You've put across your points, hoping that the government will take into consideration what you've been arguing all this while. But congratulations to you and women of this nation for finally being able to see the reservation that has been a long overdue.